So this is the video update for day 63 in Copenhagen, which is on Thursday the 30th of August. And it's my third and final day in the beautiful capital of Denmark. I started my tour inside the town hall, and I did have a bit of a sleep in, getting up around midday and then leaving the house around 1300. After visiting the town hall, I commenced walking down towards Christianshavn and getting in preparations to go to the Royal Maritime Museum. So I crossed over this bridge here, which took me over towards Christianiania, and then as I got to the other side, there was a park that I walked through with a nice little lake in there, and then past some other housing residential sort of areas, which had a nice little canal here where people could park their boats, and this beautiful church, and then I got inside the Maritime Museum. The Maritime Museum is quite historical here, and a lot of the stuff is 600 to 700 years old. The first part that I went into was this area here, which housed all these different types of cannons. And one of the other cannons, which is towards the end, was this cannon that was built in the 15th century. And the historical sort of meaning of that was, it was well before Australia was discovered. After walking through this sort of area here and seeing all these cannons, I went upstairs to the next level, and that level sort of housed all these little statues of figureheads, and also lots of model ships which are up there. After looking around there, I mean, they had literally hundreds of them, so it was a little bit boring. In the middle part, which is one of the main sort of features of this, was one of the royal barges, which is right here. A lot of the things which is inside this museum are from the 16th and 17th century. This is a map of the island, the fortifications. I found this quite interesting, these dredges, of the models of them, of how they would have worked with the mechanics. Here is a copper press for a chart, and you can't have a maritime museum without lots of all old sextants. And a lot of these sextants and quadrants and astrolabes are again hundreds and hundreds of years old. Then came an old ship's log and a lead line there for getting a sounding. Some cutlasses and rifles and a drum. And then they also had this submarine conning tower and the other sort of components inside this sort of thing. I did take some video, but it didn't turn out too well, so I've got a couple of pictures here just illustrating what it looked like inside. And it was quite interesting, and they had some other submariner paraphernalia around the sort of area. And this was a deck gun from World War II. After leaving this submariner sort of section, we went into another hall, and there was all these other models of modern ships. A replica missile of a Sea Sparrow, which are still used today, and then all these small little missile and gun corvettes. And they did have a bridge of one standing there, and you can see just the side of that bridge now, and there's someone dressed up looking for some cold weather. Now, getting up into this sort of superstructure, the top part was a flying bridge, which is just here. And then I walked down in towards the main part of the bridge, and you can see the helm and another radar there. A recognition sort of table for NATO and probably Soviet aircraft and ships. Then down into the operations room. Then there was another gun down here. Some other models of some minesweepers. And then we got in, and then after this, I sort of moved into an area where it was more focused on World War II and more colonial parts of the Danish Navy. So as you can see, an old uniform, a captured German flag, And this next part was quite interesting. This sword was recovered from that Danish ship that was sunk during World War II. There's a binnacle of a compass. And then there was lots of these old models of these ships from the pre-World War One sort of era. And they had diagrams working of the engines and illustrating how all the guns and stuff sort of worked on them. I really did enjoy coming to this museum because as the Australian sort of history is only 200 years old, the Maritime Museum in Sydney is still quite interesting. However, this had some other unique pieces that I had never seen before, like the dredges, looking at all these old uniforms and having lots of the figureheads and sort of statues. I did have to rush around when I did this tour because I got there 1 hour before it closed, but I did get around and see a lot of things, which was quite interesting for myself. After the sort of the tour here in the Maritime Museum, I got ready to walk towards this area called Christiania, and the entrance gate will come up very shortly. And this sort of area is more of a hippie village, is a polite way of putting it. But they have their own sort of law imposed there. So they sell lots of drugs, they smoke lots of drugs, they take lots of drugs. And the village seems to work quite well, and then people just go there to relax and get stoned. I couldn't take many pictures or videos of the Christiania because as I was in this sort of area here and then filming just around this sort of area, a gentleman quietly came up to me and told me that I had to switch my camera off, and I later found out that they like us to do that. So the drug dealers can't get in trouble from the police and have video evidence. So I left there and entered back into the European Union where it's more civilized. This is a picture of the old stock exchange area, and it's got this marble sort of spire on top of it. And then as I continue sort of walking back towards home, there's Christiansborg's palace. And all again, the buildings are very nice and well preserved. After a hard sort of day of walking back, and my final sort of day, I collected some thoughts and then was starting to get ready during the evening to head to Gothenburg in Sweden. So I hope you enjoyed my video update, and I'll keep you posted for future ones. Thank you very much.